Hi there, how's it going? I am MisterBo, and in this video we're going to be discussing, does the Crash Bandicoot franchise's future all rest on Crash Bandicoot 4 doing well? Now before we get into that, I did put up a poll yesterday over on the community tab section, which I will leave linked in the description below. Basically, I put up a few different ideas I have for videos, and I asked you guys to vote on which one you wanted to see in which order, as well as leave your ideas for any other Crash Bandicoot 4 videos you'd like to see me do in the future. So it'd be awesome if you could go over there and vote, as well as leave your ideas for other things you want me to talk about. With that out of the way, let's hop into the main topic. So first things first, do I think Crash Bandicoot 4 is going to do well in terms of sales and reviews? Personally, I do. I think this game is going to sell incredibly well, and I think it's probably going to be getting 7s, 8s, maybe a few 9s in terms of review scores as well. Everything we've seen so far looks super promising, but that brought up the question, if this game doesn't do well, what does that mean for the future of the Crash Bandicoot franchise? So let's go back a couple of years to when Activision acquired the rights for Crash Bandicoot. Now the reason they got the rights to the Crash Bandicoot IP was because they merged with Vivendi, who had been publishing Crash Bandicoot games before. Pretty much most of the games after the Naughty Dog games were published by Vivendi. And then when they got the rights to the IP, Activision just kind of sat on it for a very long time, and we had all assumed we were never getting anything new from Crash. That was until we got the announcement that Crash was going to be in Skylanders Imaginators, and there was a little bit of hope there. Fast forward to about 6 months, and we got the official announcement of the Insane Trilogy. It seemed that Activision had fully decided to bring Crash back, but to do a remake because remakes were kind of hot and they were doing really well. So they remade 1, 2, and 3, and we know how well that did. In fact, it was the best-selling Crash Bandicoot game ever, upwards of 10 million copies. So Activision saw that did well and went, okay, that sold incredibly well, what do we do next? Well, a lot of people are asking for Crash Team Racing to be remade. The remakes we just did really well. The Spyro remake we did really well as well. Let's remake Crash Team Racing. And then Crash Team Racing did extremely well as well. I believe it was the fastest selling Crash game within the first 24 hours out of every single Crash game. Now obviously that makes sense because it was a multi-platform game, unlike the Insane Trilogy, which launched exclusively on PS4. Now where am I going with this? Well, Activision saw success in doing remasters of Crash Bandicoot 4, and that, I believe, is what gave them the confidence to say, you know what, let's give them a completely brand new Crash Bandicoot game. Let's stop doing these remasters and remakes for a moment, and let's try something new. We might be seeing the same thing with Spyro. They did the Reignited trilogy. We may get 1 or 2 more remakes of Spyro, or they might just hop into a brand new Spyro game next, and we're seeing it currently with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. If the remake of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 does well, we might see a remake of 3 and 4, or we might see a brand new Tony Hawk's game. I think Activision seems to be testing the waters with these games with doing a remake, and then if it does well, then thinking about whether to do a brand new game or not. So that brings me on to the question of, does the whole Crash Bandicoot franchise rely on Crash Bandicoot 4 doing well? Because, for one, if this game does sell incredibly well, I think if this comes anywhere near the Insane Trilogy in terms of sale numbers, then Activision will probably mark this down as a success. You need to remember that this is a full price new game, whereas the remakes were a cheaper game, meaning a lot more people were probably going to buy it because of the price point. And then if this is a success, we're probably going to be seeing a Crash Bandicoot 5, a Crash Bandicoot 6, a Crash Bandicoot insert name here. If this game does well, I think we can safely confirm that Crash Bandicoot is finally back and we're going to be getting games every couple of years. The question then becomes if this game doesn't do well. Now, as I said at the beginning, I don't think that's going to happen. I think this game is going to do incredibly well. The reception to it has been more than positive. Obviously, there are the few vocal minority who are saying they don't like the design, they're not going to buy this game, they don't like the way this game is going. But the majority of people, like myself, are really excited for this game and just can't wait to play it. So if this game doesn't do well, then what does Activision do? Now, I can see 3 different paths they can go here. The first path, which can kind of split off into 2 different routes here, is 1, they make Crash Bandicoot 5 or whatever it's called the next step in the franchise, a completely brand new game like this with either Toys for Bob or VV Games or Beanox making it, and they see how well that does, and then if that doesn't do well again, they maybe put a lid on Crash Bandicoot for the moment, come back to it in a couple of years, or they do some other things. For instance, maybe they do another kart racing game. They saw the success that they got with Crash Nitro Fueled. Maybe they go, okay, we've got all these models, we've got the mechanics from Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, let's do a brand new kart racing game, let's just put a load of new content in it and see how well that does. I think that's another opportunity and might actually have more appeal than a new mainline Crash game if this one doesn't do well. The second path they could take is they go back to the vault and they go, okay, the new games didn't work, but the remasters did. Maybe we remaster another game. A lot of people want Twinsanity, so let's do that and see how well that sells. And then the third option is they just go, right, Crash didn't do well, let's just put it away for a minute, come back to it in a couple of years and try again. Now there is the rumour that there is a new Crash Bandicoot PvP game coming out next year. Now we don't really know what that is. I think it's a little bit too soon to be a new kart racing game. I know a lot of people are assuming it's going to be maybe like what they did with Nitro Fueled but with Crash Bash. So we get the base game of Crash Bash but heavily expanded upon, maybe more something like a Mario Party, and then they can add new characters and stuff in like that, and it's just sort of a fun spin-off game. It's going to be interesting to see what that game is, and especially how that then performs after what we see with Crash Bandicoot 4, and whether that PvP game uses the same Unreal Engine and uses all the new models, or maybe they go back to the Alchemy engine and they use the old models from Nitro Fueled and the Insane Trilogy. That's definitely going to be an interesting game to watch out for. So, do I think the rest of the franchise relies on Crash Bandicoot 4 doing well? I do think so, but at the same time, I think it's going to do well. I can't really see why it wouldn't. The community seems super hyped for this. If you look at how well the trailers have done on YouTube, they've done incredibly well in this short amount of time. If you look at content creators like myself, the Crash Bandicoot 4 videos have been the most popular stuff I've been making over the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to say I'm 99% sure that we don't have anything to worry about in terms of Crash's future. I think we're probably pretty safe in terms of seeing more Crash coming after this game. But I did this video because I thought it'd be something interesting to talk about. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the whole franchise relies on this game doing well? And if it doesn't, maybe we don't see Crash Bandicoot for a couple of years. Do you think this game is going to do well? And what do you want to see from Crash Bandicoot after Crash Bandicoot 4? I think it's pretty clear to see that Activision is prioritizing Crash over Spyro at the moment. Seeing how well the Insane Trilogy did compared to the Reignited Trilogy, we now have 3 Crash Bandicoot games to the 1 Spyro game, and if that PvP game is indeed legit, we could be seeing 4 Crash Bandicoot games to the 1 Spyro game, though there is also the rumor we're going to be seeing a new Spyro next year as well. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think. Also, let me know if you like these kind of videos. More sort of speculation / theory videos talking about the franchise and where it might go. Again, I have a poll down in the description below asking you guys which videos you'd like to see me make first, as well as the opportunity to leave your ideas for future videos. Also, please let me know if you didn't like this kind of video. If it's something you don't really enjoy, you don't enjoy the speculation / theorizing videos like this, then I won't do more in the future and I'll focus more on just the news and gameplay kind of stuff. But this is just something that I felt like I wanted to talk about. Also, make sure you click that like button because it helps get this video out to more people. If you aren't already, subscribe so you get to stay up to date with all my future videos. If you'd like to chat with me and just see what I'm up to, you can follow me over on Twitter at @IamMisterBo, or you can join our Discord server, a link to that in the description below. It'd be awesome to see you over there. With all that out of the way though, thank you very much for watching and for hanging out. I do really appreciate it. And as always, take care. Bye bye.